Go for it.
Friggin' what up, dude? Strider Wilson, and I'm the host of this podcast that's mine, going to be called History is Dank. History is Dank with Strider Wilson. Dankness from the heart.
Dude, freaking what up? I'm your host, Strider Wilson. We got Aaron going beast mode on the sticks. Dude, what up, Aaron, dude?
What up?
Dude, I'm freaking fired up. I'm posted up right now. If you're listening, just maybe you want to switch over to the YouTube because Sonny's here, dude. I got Sonny in
about
frame.
beast mode.
Exact, dude. This little beast, dude. This little 18.5-pound terrier beast, dude. Just barking at squirrels, dude. Just watching me crank hog while my wife's out of town, dude. Dude, you guys don't realize, but every time before we start recording the pod, I test. Aaron's like, dude, let me get some levels on that song. Let me make sure. And when the laptop volume is blasted up, he knows that I've been blasting because my wife's out of town, dude. Just laying down on the rug in the entryway, just bass turned up on the laptop, dude. Every screen, just different tabs open, dude. Goth, you know, just all my favorite categories. Pregnant goth, all my favorite categories. Blah. Dude, so legit. So fired up on that, dude. Today we've got a dank ass topic. Thought about this topic because my bro Mason had his birthday, dude. Mason, what up, dude? Happy 50th, absolute legend. Shout out to you. And the thing about my boy Mason, dude, is he loves emotions, dude. Dude, you know what I mean? Like, he's one of those dudes who will shed some tear and he'll lean into it. Dude, one of the activities that we do together is we go on hikes and we'll talk. You know, we'll be emotionally vulnerable with one another. It's very to the backdrop of serene vistas. You know, him and I like to wear puffer vests and look out on the ocean and just go, So what's going on with you, man? Well, here's this, you know? And then I tell him, look, I got cut off by a Honda Civic and I'm trying to track that guy down, MacGruber style. And he'll be like, oh, that's interesting. Maybe you should let that go. And I'll go, you know what? Maybe you're right. Maybe you're right. So we'll sort of dissect stuff like that. So it made me think, you know, maybe as a history topic, I go, were dudes always emotional? Were humans always emotional? What came first, the chicken or the egg, when it came to emotion? You know, we've all heard nature versus nurture. We're going to kind of dive into that today. We're going to ask ourselves some questions. You know, how do we understand what motivates individuals and groups of people? Is it our emotions? Is there group emotion? Is there Eastern versus Western? How do feelings and reason fit into the process of evolution? Were personalities set in stone or they developed? When did Shmoles come on the scene? Were there Kevin Fards 10,000 years ago? Were there ancient Shmoles going around being like, meh? We're going to find out. Anxiety, fear, there's big theories on that as a driver of evolution. And will this, by the end of it, will we better understand our behaviors? But before we get into that, I want to talk about and do a little bit of a few segments here. One that we haven't done in a little bit. On this day, this episode drops October 7th, 2025. But what went down on October 7th in the past? And funny enough, 1571. If you're a big-time Dankatorian, you might know what went down in 1571, October 7th. The Battle of Lepanto. We covered this, dude. Sick-ass episode. One of the biggest naval battles in the history of man. Oh, dude, Sonny just settled in my lap. Guys,
there we go.
Yo, heads up. Cuteness alert. Oh, my. I can't move, dude. I can't even. This is just too cute right now, dude. Oh, October 7th, 2025. Sonny's fucking cute. Record that for the annals of history. The Holy League of Southern Europe, the Southern European nations, they form under this guy, Pope Pius V, dude, this guy, to destroy an Ottoman fleet in a significant loss of Western Greece. Yeah, bro. It's all around this like Isle of Crete and the trade zone there, and you know the what's it called? The Ottoman fleet. It's basically is, you know, the Islamic State versus the Christian powers, and the Christian powers have to band together under the Pope to fight against the Ottoman Empire, and they use this like crescent battleship formation, and it's pretty freaking badass. And the you know, go listen to it. You'll find out who prevails. Very legit, very big battle in history. 2001. October 7th is when the U.S. invasion of Afghanistan begins. Dude, I remember watching that on TV. I remember watching them drop bombs and shit. It was fucking crazy, dude. Air assault and covert ground operations going in there, dude, to find out. Speaking of jacking off, Osama bin Laden's cave years later. Dude was just cranking hog, dude.
Yeah. He was in a house.
In his house, that's what I mean. Sorry, in Zero Dark 30. Dude, go check that out. You're right.
Yeah. That war in Afghanistan turned out great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good work.
Man.
What a nightmare. What a nightmare. And then 1971, French Connection is released October 7th, directed by William Friedkin.
Yeah.
Gene Hackman, Roy Scheider, Fernando Rey. I need to rewatch that. Really, all I know is just the chase scene on foot is iconic, and they're like going in and out of the subway.
The car chase at full speed.
There's a car chase in there too. See, I haven't.
Yeah, it's all part of that. It's foot and car, but the cars are going full speed in the Bronx. It's crazy.
Was the movie Bullet with Steve McQueen before this?
Yes.
Because that was like the original first big high-speed chase scene on film, right?
Yeah, but that's in the Bay Area now.
Yes, very legit, and he's in that sick-ass...
yeah, that's like 67, 68.
Ford.
Yeah, the Mustang.
John Heisman, who the Heisman Trophy is named after, in Georgia Tech, defeats Cumberland, a new university you probably never heard of, because it was the biggest deficit in college football history. And guess what it was, dude? So John Heisman's Georgia Tech. Damn, I'm blanking on the mascot of Georgia Tech. They have a good
Bulldog.
one. Bulldogs.
Uga.
No. That's
Georgia
University
Tech is
of Georgia.
Yeah, you're right. UGA is Uga.
UGA is Uga. Georgia Tech is like the yellow.
The Bees.
The Bees. That's it.
Or Yellow Jackets. Yeah, you might one of those two.
And then Cumberland, no idea what they are, and probably makes sense because they lost 222-0.
Jesus H.
So maybe after that, they just decided, hey man, let's hang it up, dude. Let's go play volleyball.
What year was that?
I should look that up. I'm a dumbass for not putting what year that is. Let me look it up. Sorry, Sonny.
Oh, I mean, it's early times.
Yeah, it's like back when like leather helmets and shit, probably.
In the teens, probably.
1916.
Yeah. Whew.
All the good players were. Actually, I don't think we hadn't joined World War I yet. Also, October 7th is a birthday for Major Shmoles, Putin and Himmler, Heinrich Himmler.
Ugh. Two
bad dudes.
Yeah.
Putin 1959, Himmler 1900, and then 52 for Putin, and then also Simon Cowell. Guy keeps it real. 1959. So a little bit of on this day, so you know what's going on, dude. October 7th. Now let's get into a little bit of who said it. Now we're talking emotions here today, Aaron, and this one's going to probably be the most difficult who said it of all time. So I will give you a hint, and our listeners, I will give you a hint. And there are two acceptable answers here, Jeopardy style.
Okay.
You can say the band.
Georgia Tech is the Yellow Jackets, by the way.
Hell yeah, I got that. Let's go, baby. Pulled that out of my ass.
Yeah.
You can say the band name for this,
okay,
or bonus points if you know the lead singer.
Okay.
Who wrote most of the lyrics.
Yeah.
If not all. Your other hint is emo, because we're talking emotions today.
Okay.
So I chose the greatest, not the greatest, but a prolific emo music writer. And I will say these quotes in an emo voice, if that helps you out.
I'd love to hear it.
So here we go. We will accept the band or the lead singer who wrote the lyrics.
Mm-hmm.
There's no sorrow that the sun's not gonna heal.
I do not know that.
Okay, so we'll keep
Based on that
going.
one, I do not know it.
This little world's too crowded now, and there's only one way out.
Nope, don't know it.
I talk in the mirror to the stranger that appears. The conversations are circles, always one-sided. Nothing is clear.
Give me one more.
Okay. Oh, we got no health insurance, no cellular service, no disease they can cure, but we need more money to burn.
I don't know these lyrics at all.
So I had to look these up. I'm not a huge fan of this band, although I do know them and I listen to them. And I'm honestly kind of doing
I'm a Jimmy Eat World guy.
Emo.
I'm a Jimmy Eat World guy. They are not emo, so I'm not really an emo guy.
No. I mean, I had an emo phase, that's for sure. Maybe I'll try this a little bit more.
I can't imagine you with bangs.
He kind of... an eyeshadow, dude. He... in one of those little rubber bands, dude, to punish myself when I think about hooking up with it, because a lot of emo dudes were, celibate too. Wouldn't even crank.
That's just a mistake.
Huge mistake. You gotta, come on, bro. You're not gonna be rational. We're gonna get into how cranking is evolutionary effective.
Yeah.
It's important, dude. So maybe I'll try this one in a little bit more of how this guy sang a little bit, because he actually didn't do screamo too much. He wasn't screamo emo. He was more like, but I won't be frightened when I'm awoken from this dream and return to that which gave birth to me.
I'm just going to guess Death Cab for Cutie.
I love Death Cab. I should have done Death Cab, bro.
Okay.
This is Bright Eyes. I don't know if you know Bright Eyes.
I don't know Bright Eyes. No.
Connor Oberst, Bright Eyes, dude.
I know those names, but
Death Cab's so much more solid, though. God, I love Death Cab. Is
Ben-
Postal Service
Ben Gibbard?
considered emo?
I don't think so.
No, they're more of just like kick ass, dude. They just rip.
They're a
I'm
super group, aren't they?
Thinking it's a sign. Yeah, they were. Because who was the lead singer of Death Cab?
Ben Gibbard.
Yeah, Ben Gibbard. He's like a beast. And then, oh man, I forget who the girl was. She was amazing.
I'm not
Was it,
looking. Wikipedia.
Jenny,
I'm not looking for the Postal Service Act. Okay.
No. No, you're not. We don't care about Robert DeJoyce, Postmaster General, dude.
Yeah.
Postmaster General is one of the sickest. If you're going to work for a government job, Postmaster General would probably be the sickest title, I think. Because you still get to be called a general without having to go through military training. That's huge.
Jenny Lewis is the girl.
Jenny Lewis, that's who I'm thinking of. Because I'm a little white dove. So good. Okay. We'll get into the crux of our episode now. Emotions through the ages. How they've changed. Have they changed? And, maybe nature versus nurture. So, a big theory, and you've probably heard this, how fear and anxiety drove human evolution. This is
Certainly drives me.
me and you both, brother, I'll tell you right now. So that just means, Aaron, you and I might have, everyone has
Low testosterone.
the amygdala.
Oh.
Yeah. I can't get hard. I've been lying this whole time. I haven't cranked once. I've just been screaming at the top of my lungs at my ceiling, laying on my back. The amygdala is the part of the brain that releases neurotransmitters, literally sends little neurotransmitters that will send blood to your muscle groups, your larger muscle groups, when triggered, when something in your environment triggers you. So a question I had was, are humans the only emotional beings? No, mammals are known for being very emotional. However, studies do show, and if you're thinking of emotion as response to environment, right? All organisms, even single cell organisms, must have the capacity to detect and respond to significant stimuli in order to survive. Do we call that emotion in bacteria? I don't know. Well, they do know to approach certain nutrients and steer clear of harmful chemicals. Is it emotion that drives that? That is what we're calling emotion. And what's the difference between an emotion and a feeling? Well, an emotion suggests that we have and we place value on something, whereas you can feel cold. I feel warm, and those can be drivers. Horniness. We'll talk more about horniness in a little bit as a driver, or is it one of the primary emotions? Anxiety, Aaron, you and I value it more. Now, there's this idea of, oh man, is that just your personality, or is it like genetic? I think looking at the research, there is, when you look at people who are adopted and raised by a stepfather, which is legit, what up, and step parents, when that child meets the biological parent, if that ever happens, the mannerisms are carried forward. Also, you inherit physical attributes, and your intellect is also, your IQ. If you've got a dumbass parent, you're probably going to have a dumbass kid. Look at the O'Doyles and Billy Madison.
Yeah.
Smart people, smart kids, super athletic parents, often super athletic. And there are exceptions to that rule. But the genetic majority and the percentage of the apple not falling far from the tree is actually higher. Now, how does that translate into personality and personality traits? It does. So there probably are, based on research that we'll dive into here, a long line of Shmoles that Kevin descended from.
Yeah.
And back in the day...
Have we ever met his parents?
I haven't.
Yeah.
I have not.
So we don't really know.
Mm-mm. They're probably out throwing off the vibe somewhere. And
they're singing songs about Joe's dong somewhere.
Yeah, they've been obsessed with hogs since day one. They're obsessed with penises. Kevin's great-grandparents in a cave somewhere being like, dude, have you seen Grok's cock? I know Grok is now AI, but Grok is also a good caveman name.
Yep.
Freaking AI, dude, taking my caveman names. Off the top of my head, caveman names. Otzi, dude. We've done a podcast on him, although he technically wasn't caveman. I think he was Bronze Age, but still, Otzi's a good caveman name. In the amygdala, you have dendrites. Now, dendrites think of like a tree branch on neurons. And if the tree branch is healthy and strong, they send info to the reason and logic zone, the frontal cortex. If they're weathered, the reason and logic zone isn't going to be as effective. So, Aaron, you and I... Actually, no, that's inverse. I'm a dumbass. If you have weathered dendrites from your amygdala, which is sending these responsive from fear and anxiety-based responses to the rest of your body, through time, those can be like you're thinking about weathered or deterioration, but it's because you're using more logic and reason and you're less anxious. So cool dudes probably have withered dendrites. But anxious dudes like me and you, we have strong dendrites. So when our amygdala fires, when we get anxious, just sitting there thinking about the future, and anxiety is a response to future perceived problems, whereas fear is momentary. Yeah. Both effective in evolution.
Sure.
But it'd be like that idea of like surviving in a village. You need anxious people to be like, I don't know, dude. On the other side of that mountain, there could be a village just like us, and we had a low harvesting season, so we should probably build higher walls. And then cool dudes are like, it's fine. And then that whole tribe might get ganked and die. And then there's a reason evolutionarily that there's anxious dudes, because the people that listened, the cool dudes that listened to the anxious bros being like, no, we do need higher walls, probably survived. Mm-hmm. So that's sort of this fear-driven evolution concept and the zero risk. And sort of what I was talking about at the end there was like this idea of the zero risk bias, where nowadays you and I, Aaron, instead of telling cool dudes to build higher walls to, keep the frickin' Huns out, right, in China, or the Mongolians, I should say, probably the Huns at some point, but the Mongolians, now it's like you and I just going and buying toilet paper when COVID happens, which I actually didn't do.
Nah, me
So I got there late. But that's what a lot of people do who are super, super anxious. They're like, oh no, there's COVID, I need to go wipe my ass. Or just having tons of supplies and being ready, having a go bag. Do you have a go bag, Aaron?
No.
Neither do I.
No.
See, we're anxious guys, but
Well,
we also might have optimism bias.
It's true. It's also what I'm anxious about.
Yeah.
But I mean, part of my anxiety is already having toilet paper. Plenty.
I have plenty right now. I'm telling you right now, I'm stocked the fuck up.
Yeah, so I wasn't worried about it.
Now, speaking of emotion, you go, okay, there's fear and anxiety. Those exist. I can see how evolutionarily that's important. But what about these other main emotions or the primary effects? Interest, enjoyment, surprise, distress, anger, fear, shame, disgust. And there's levels of this, being startled, anguish, rage, higher fear, terror, shame, humiliation. There's levels of these things, right? But the primary basic emotions, and I'd like to put horniness in there in my own research, although the experts don't, which I think is a huge mistake. They mainly say that that's a driver, not an inherited emotion. I don't know. Maybe maybe I'm not a horny guy. JT says I'm not a horny guy. Maybe my dad wasn't, dude. Although he created 5 kids, so maybe he only boned 5 times.
Well, I mean, your anxiety or your fear can get in front of that. I was anxious around girls and fearful of them as I grew up with women, and did not want to overstep bounds, and so I, didn't probably pursue things as hard as I could have if I would just fucking not had that.
That's your dendrites.
Yeah.
Dude, your fucking amygdala boned you there, dude.
Yeah.
So now these emotions and the way you feel and process and different emotions, this is sort of, so we're talking into nature. We the experts say, and Darwin wrote a dank ass book on all this stuff. Darwin, great observer, dude.
You say great surfer?
Observer.
Oh, okay.
He'd be sick if he was good at surfing.
Yeah, I mean,
he was cruising around on his HMS Beagle. Very fitting that I have my dank ass terrier here with me today to honor his Beagle. He called it the Beagle because it's an exploratory breed of dog, and he was an explorer of internal functionings in the world around him.
Also, Beagle's good at hunting foxes, if you know what I mean.
Hey, man, bro. Also, dude, Darwin just trying to pick up chicks. He was just cruising around with a dog being like, dude, this is the smartest evolutionary thing I can do is if I want to spread my seed to the next generation, I got to have a dog with me, dude. Because chicks like that, dude. Also, the dog did help the human brain develop and get bigger and more powerful because our fear and anxiety, we wouldn't sleep as well. But knowing that we had a creature, a dog with a heightened sense and a higher alert system.
Yeah.
And if that dog was sleeping, it meant that we could trust that, around us, we're good. Yeah. So let's pass the fuck out.
Yeah.
Help our brains grow. Help our wieners grow.
Yeah, dog.
Now, the way we behave, this concept of personality, Shmoles, and chill dudes, are modeled by social and cultural environment. Okay? Now there's 5 big models here, according to experts. The widely accepted framework that personality is composed of the openness to experiment, consciousness, extroversion, agreeableness, and neuroticism. So those are the components that make up your personality. And then you have this, is it Jungian?
Yeah.
This of cognitive functions. He has got 16 types of personality. We've come to call them that. Though personality might be a misnomer. It's just a way that we are able to sort of file and understand people and be like, okay, when these situations present themselves, this person's more likely to react in this way. And there's 16 grand archetypes according to the Jungian perspective. Now, we have these primary inborn effects that help us to understand human development, what they are, how do they work, how do they evolve into personalities. Did those, for instance, say these Jungian personalities exist way back in caveman times, or like were there goth dudes? I think there were, because you have cave paintings, and art, I think, captures emotion. That's emotion that is now tangible, that we can see and study. And I think with sort of circling back to nature versus nurture, depending on your culture, like in Eastern culture, they seem to value modesty and introspection and more introvert personality types. In the West, look at like Greek statues and brave leaders, and of course in the East they love brave leaders and everything, but humble and brave. But in the West, you have these big statues, statues of David, the little man standing up and hitting down Goliath, and then having his hog out and posing beautifully, this extrovert leader type. And you can sort of see that in art. And maybe you can see these, it would be a stretch and it would be a thesis to write, and I'm sort of just kind of brainstorming it here a little bit, but these Jungian perspectives exemplified in art through the ages. Sort of interesting. And were there personality types that aren't on that scale? He always has like letters like ENFIT or QPIDW. According to that scale, though, my wife has the rarest personality type. And I think, which is kind of cool, that's just a brag. Aaron, I was hoping you'd go sick after I said that. Hoping you would say that was tight.
Oh, it is tight.
Thank you, D.
I could tell.
Appreciate that. Very legit. Now back to Darwin. He explored.
My personality is a QTPI.
What's that?
Cutie pie.
I mean, that's just absolutely genius right there. You are so cute, dude. You and Sonny both, dude. You guys are both QTPIs. Oh, dude. My personality type is LEGIT, dude. Fucking legit, dude. What up? It's DANK. That's my personality type. HORNY. Psych. That's JT's, dude. In Darwin's book, 1872, The Expression of the Emotions of Man and Animal, animals do have emotions. Little organisms do, dude. Little Sonny has emotions, dude. Right now, he's just cuddling up on me, feeling secure, feeling safe right on my lap in a space that he's been in only a couple of times. He explores these emotions and the expressions, and culturally, kind of circling, and I'm bouncing around here back to mannerisms, the face has so many little muscles. And through the ages, evolutionarily, when the environment stimulated ancient man, humans, hominids, and even primates beyond then, because you can study them. Dude, speaking out, Jane Goodall, what up? Big shout out, R.I.P. Jane Goodall, absolute legend. Studying chimps, a lot of similar emotion, and now we're able to see the brain and actually see those freaking little neurons fire and absolutely label it, what the emotion is. But in the past, our only signifying system was the eyes, the muscles around the eyes, a smile, which actually in chimps, I think a smile means something different than in humans. But for humans and in your culture, you would evolve. So you would have your baseline emotions that you would have: fear, anxiety, joy. Love is different. People say that maybe it's just a dopamine hit, but it's a part of joy. And that would then translate. Your environment would stimulate you. You would process your emotion through your, inherited, levels of personality, whatever that is, your process, and then your environment, how you were raised, that also affects it too. And learn it. And so you can't walk around in my village of 150 people that I live in, which my boy Yuval Harari says is kind of the ideal hunter-gatherer nomad style, to know everyone in your environment before you have strangers, is about around 150. Most primates cruise around in that number for larger primate groups, chimps, what up, legit, and smiling or head nodding or throwing a shaka, that could be seen as very chill within that group. Whereas throwing peace sign could be seen, which we throw as pieces or deuce. Then you go to, a tribe on the other side of the world, you throw out two, that might mean something else. That might mean, hey, I'm going to frickin', Eastern promises you. You put that up to your neck, that means I'm going to assassinate you. That's what that means. Whereas here, you just throw it like that. Even if it's close to your neck, it doesn't matter. And if you're over here in Southern California, but if you go to a day spa in Russia with your hog out, and your Viggo Mortensen, you hit him with one of these, means later. Different gestures, dude. Like, what up? Like the head nod, what up?
Do you, as someone who kind of works in tourism,
Mm-hmm.
do you, when you give directions, do you use your whole hand?
Absolutely.
Yep.
The blade. It's more polite.
Yeah.
A lot of people do point, and the Japanese, I think the Japanese are great with the way their mannerisms have evolved, and it's more interesting to study because it's an island, right? Better, more controlled sample. They adopted the blade. And the Japanese have, like my boy Dan Carlin says, every emotion and scale and feeling that most cultures value, honor, integrity, but they just do it more intensely, which I love. But yeah, the blade, point with the entire hand, much better.
Yeah. I've been
much
doing that
better
for a long time.
It's so legit. It's freaking alpha, dude. So in any case, Darwin finds that there are innate and universal expressions, okay, of emotions present in Homo sapiens which evolved from animals. Now he describes these earliest feelings, I call them effects, the primary effects, as biological response to stimuli. And they're seen in, like I kind of just went over, the skin, the voice, musculature. You might say that a dude who gets jacked calves, jacked traps, living in Miami, that's an emotional response to being in Miami. Being like, if I want to evolve, if I want a chance to evolve and to meet my future wife at a high-end gym where they only serve Michelob Ultras and Hailey Bieber smoothies, then you better get jacked calves. That's an emotional evolutionary response. And then that guy's offspring and that lady's offspring will have a larger propensity, and generationally it will increase, but slightly more jacked calves. And then he'll see that kid will grow up and go, oh, jacked calves equals higher status. I better start I better start doing bear ups, at the gym. If you don't know what that is, do the research. So we have this emotional signaling system in our face, but also in the way we present ourselves. Later, evolutionarily, it evolves into fashions and expression. Goth, right? Even goth architecture, which I wanted to go into, and art through the ages. This cathedrals reaching up towards the sky and the heavens was meant to give an emotional response to the churchgoer when they walked in there, reaching up to the heavens and feeling closer to the Almighty. Back in the day, we see emotion in hominid and sapien burial grounds. We realize that they're feeling this emotion and this expression of loss, and we can see that. Kings being praised. Look at the pharaohs. Look at the smiting architecture in Egypt, being like, look how fucking sick I am. You know what I mean? That's like basically a selfie nowadays. Pharaohs were the first ones, arguably, that you could say were taking ancient selfies. Now, a scribe and an artist was crafting it, but it was basically, what is Ramses' face there along the Nile? That's a selfie, bro. Very sick. We've been doing it for a long time. It's evolved now just to being on a phone, and we can all do it. Used to have to do it at scale, at 30 meters tall, and take a lifetime to build. So I think art is a way that we can sort of see this evolution of emotion. Also in the age, sort of capture an era and being like, well, was there a predominating emotion back then? It seems like anxiety is having a comeback in our culture now because we have these brains that are set up to be, you know, responding to a way more dangerous world. And obviously there are dangers today which are insane, but it's not like when I go to bed at night, I'm not worried a tiger is going to come into my room or a Bengal tiger is going to maul me or a saber tooth. I am worried that Jason's going to get me. I'm worried that when I go to sleep, Freddy's going to get me.
That's real.
So that is real, and I feel that. And I'm afraid of my wife's like, grow up. You know, you should be more afraid about how little money you're making. No, she's actually cool about me, but I am afraid of that. When I look at my Chase bank account, I go, oh, wow, I'm skydiving every day. People go skydiving to feel those ancient emotions. Are we more in touch with ancient man when we jump out of a modern plane? Maybe. Is there adaptive advantages? Have different cultures evolved emotionally superior to others? No. The sense we've all, like Darwin said, experienced the range of emotion. I don't think there's anyone who's more emotionally, there are emotionally stable people, and we like to see that calm, cool, collected when debating or facing danger. But that's just more us because we're constantly seeking comfort. So if we see someone who's appearing stoic and chill, even though beneath the surface they might be Yellowstone like a volcano, we would call them
like
leaders. We would like that.
A duck floating in the water where it looks calm up top and then underneath it's all feet.
It's fluttering. Yep. And sometimes you see these guys who are the coolest, most powerful dudes, their ticker ends up going out because we are emotional. And the steam's going to have to come out somewhere. So if you don't take the lid off the pot every once in a while and go paintballing or crank hog, you have to do that. You're going to become more irrational. The amygdala is going to fire things in that frontal cortex, and it's going to tell you, hey, man, I got to tell this waitress a story about my high school wrestling. I got to tell the waitress a story about how I pinned a dude in high school. I got to tell her. No, just order. You know what I mean? Get a dog. And let some ladies come up to you.
Crank hog.
Clear the hopper. You got to clear the hopper. It's our mammalian heritage, dude.
Yeah. Help fight off prostate cancer.
100%. He says, Darwin, the most human of emotions is blushing. It's kind of interesting. He's got a lot of cool quotes on it because we feel embarrassment. You know, they do study chimps and they say maybe that chimps do feel some sort of embarrassment. They definitely feel stress from their leaders.
Sure.
Like I watched a documentary where like the alpha chimp yells at like one of his like captains, and then the captain goes home and like yells at his wife and kid. It's unreal, dude. It's evolutionary. Having a bad day at work and taking it out on the family. I'll give you some little ground here, boy. There you go, good boy. So it's pretty gnarly. You have Frida Kahlo. Jesus, I'm an idiot. She has this painting, The Two Fridas, speaking back on selfies, where she explores physical pain and emotional heartbreak and complex identity in her two different portraits. You have Monet's gardens, or his lilies, and Impressionism. It's all about looking at the same view and then painting that view based on how he's feeling. So you got Edvard Munch's The Scream, right? These are all from different eras of art, capturing the human experience. And I think art is a great way to do it, at least for me, because one, it's visual and I can see it and sort of understand it a little bit better. And then two, artists are kind of more, I think they're more emotional people, at least in tune with it more emotionally, with themselves or maybe their surroundings, and communicate well what we're feeling. I think a good movie does that. I think a good song does that. It's why we love it. It's like, man, damn, that guy gets it, dude. When someone goes, man, you get it, they can explain what you're feeling as a human, which I think you know, that caveman who put his hand on the wall for the first time or painted a hunting scene. It might be a little bit of, it's, you know, you have Native Americans and tribes all over the world praising the animal, honoring the sacrifice. My boy Jason Momoa in Chief of War like wrestles a shark in the very opening scene and like sedates it, and he like hugs the shark and he's like, "Thank you for your death so that many may live." We like seeing that type of stuff. We have to honor the kill. We feel the guilt. You know, guilt is an interesting human one. Part of what blushing is. I think Darwin, you know, I won't go out on a limb, dude, freaking genius. But I do think, yeah, the blush, whether it be from embarrassment, shame, is big. But dogs feel it too. Like when Sonny, he knows he goes and gets into my food that I put on the coffee table, and he doesn't do it anymore, but I go, "What are you doing?" You know, he has that shame. We obviously might project a little bit, but he's feeling something there.
Yeah.
You know? So it's interesting. I would say when I got into this, my main question was, and this was a really fun topic to research too, was, do we feel the same way that our ancient ancestors felt? Like, and I think the answer, you know, you can't give it a definitive yes or no. We can lean into these theories that much smarter people than I, and who have done way more extensive lifetimes worth of research upon, that they had these primary effects. Where did those come from? Those are innate. Well, we, according to Darwin, inherited them from our mammals who were running around in the fields. And then, you know, if you want to say we were little mitochondrial DNAs in a little warm pool of amino acids that came from single cell organisms, they're responding to stimuli around themselves, right? I don't know if we call those emotion in a single cell organism, but it's response. Sure. And emotion is, you know, chemical response to our environment. Now we just have the luxury of not being threatened by death as soon as I step outside. You know, everything's relative. I could get hit by a bus, but I'm not actively afraid of that. But I do have that anxiety for the future, and I do have certain fears.
You're not being actively hunted by buses, but
yeah,
but they are out
there.
But
you don't think I am. You don't know what I do to buses. Yeah, dude, exactly. But it's out there and it's effective. So I would say, you know, that it's definitely evolved, maybe even devolved. I think certain aspects have probably devolved generationally. And every once in a while, when you get someone who we might call this phrase lunatic, which comes from the moon, lunar, so people that act what we would call crazed when the full moon is out, that's what it would come from. Oh, the lunatics are out tonight.
Yeah. I had a psychology professor who said that the full moon definitely brings out crazy.
It does. There are different responses to our system, like if we're closer to, I mean, there's iron and there's chemicals in our blood if you want to like get real heavy science into it. But then also if you want to just lean, you have that more Cosmo approach of like, hey, it's sort of, you know, tomato. Mm-hmm. But absolutely it is. And heat as well, right? So you're feeling hot, and then that can drive emotion. You're feeling cold, that can make you worried, can make you want to be coddled a little bit more. So it's interesting, it's cool. And to wrap things up, I do want to do a thank call, which I guess you could say is praise, if it's an emotion. I want to call a Halloween Superstore. Yeah, here we go. Just thank them for enabling me to be myself, speaking on our theme of personality. Here we go.
Halloween Town Costumes, how may I help you?
What up, dude? My name's Strider, and I just want to thank you guys for having the best variety of costumes this time of year. It's so legit. It makes me, because my personality type is doing whatever to fit in. So like I'll do whatever, you know what I mean? Like I'm down to chill, down to just be accepted by people. So what is your most popular costume this year? And that's the one I'm gonna get.
The most popular is Terrifier is definitely one of them. Art the Clown.
I'll definitely do that then. I'll be
Okay.
that. So, do you guys have that in extra medium?
Let me check because it's really popular, so we might actually be completely sold out.
Dang, so I might have to be something else.
Yeah, let me just double check real quick.
See. No, dude, I mean, hope this guy comes back soon, dude, because I want to tell him some stuff. Yo.
Okay. Yeah, so we still have Terrifier costumes.
What a relief, dude. Because honestly,
and it's our Terrifier costumes are one size fits all as well.
That's perfect for me because that's what I have, gone through my entire life to be one size fits all groups of people. I kind of wear a mask 364 days a year, and Halloween's the one day where I can just be myself.
Yeah.
So sick, dude. Yeah, I'll be Terrifier. What are you going to be, by the way? Just curious.
I'm honestly still thinking about it. I'm not sure yet.
Nice. Honestly,
it's just so much to choose from.
That's what I'm saying. You guys have the sickest choices, so I want to thank you for that because it can make me fit in at any party I go to. But probably what I will do is before I come in and purchase, just wait for my wife to tell me what to do.
All right.
Cool, dude. Man, thanks for your help. You're an absolute chiller, and thanks for what you do. Enjoy the holiday, the spooky season, and I'll freaking see you in there, dude.
Yeah, thank you for the compliments. Have a good day.
You too, man. Peace. That's what's up, dude. What a legend, dude. That's my guy, dude, right there. I got to go purchase Terrifier now, whether my wife says I can do that or not. I do think she actually wants me to dress up. Her and her friend have a costume idea, and then I'm going to be the other dude in it. It's not Romeo and Michelle where it's like two girls and then the one guy's Nixon in it in the costume. I forget what movie that is.
I don't know.
Anyway, I'm freaking stoked, dude. Here's the thing. We're emotional beings. It's okay. Feel what you feel, but get it out in a healthy way. That's all there is to it, man. Now we're on the internet. Art is a healthy way and a healthy medium. Now we're on, the Twitter and Instagram, and our brains are being fed to have the highest emotional response possible because it engages, because we're addicted to that, and it can become addicting because we sometimes. It's interesting. We've evolved to have righteous rage, which has maybe always been there, right? When we're going up against in ancient times a village that came and stole our crops, and now we must go get them back, and that's righteous. Now we're just feeling that when we agree with a post on Instagram where it's like they raised the prices at a gas station or something, which does suck. But I don't know, man. Just dive into that introspection. It's all good. Let your emotion out. Go for a jog, and move to Miami is basically what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Get jacked calves.
Yeah.
Move to Miami and date a former Miami Heat dancer. That is a recipe for eternal happiness.
Sure.
Being jacked and dating former Heats dancers.
Yeah.
You will be chill. Because no dude who's ripped goes to therapy. If you are fully shredded, if you are 6'4", 225, you go to water polo. You don't go to therapy. But doesn't mean you don't need it. Doesn't mean you shouldn't try it.
Sure.
Stay freaking stoked. We'll freaking catch you guys on the next one, dude. Later from me, Sonny, and the Dank legend Aaron, dude.
Late.
Also, Luke, get yourself a pickle. And Jimmy John.